సెషన్‌లో మనం ఎల్ఎల్ఎం అప్లికేషన్స్ బిజినెస్ సైడ్ ఎల్ఎల్ఎంని ఏ విధంగా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు? హౌ బిజినెస్ ఈజ్ యుటిలైజింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ మోడల్స్ అండ్ హౌ బిజినెస్ ఈజ్ like transforming or creating its own language models. Business use case for language models. Adokati. Next, how language models have evolved beyond language models. Whatever we are using now, either ChatGPT, Gemini, or DeepSeek, none of them are no longer language models. So why they are not language models? We are going to discuss about these topics today. These are very interesting and insightful topics. So the very first thing is, when it comes to a language model, it was actually not designed for a business use case. It was actually a research project which evolved into something which the research team did not expect it to be. So now, once it evolved into something useful for the public, then business organizations have shown tremendous interest to use language models in their business operations, day-to-day business operations. So only then the research teams have focused on creating different use cases and creating different versions of the base product for business. So that is where the concept of fine tuning comes in. Actually, a language model is nothing but a large or gigantic neural network, which, just a minute. Okay. A language model is a mathematical model that takes words and converts them to tokens and spits out tokens and then converts them to words again. So it takes words in and words out. And then it repeatedly does that with a feedback loop until it reaches some exit condition, which is defined inside the model. So that is how a language model works. But the problem is the language models that we are using, all ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, all these are trained on massive public domain data, mostly social media platforms and Wikipedia and other public domains. So, but the public domain data is only some, let's say, some 20 to 30% of the data that is available in public network. If you, which is 20 to 30% of the overall available data. But when it comes to the actual useful data for business, the public domain data is just a junk. So a model trained on public domain data doesn't suit the business need. So there may be different use cases for the business based on their business operations, based on the domain of expertise. And in addition to that, the business keeps on evolving. So the basic foundation models that is trained by big organizations like Meta, OpenAI, these foundation models doesn't suit the business needs. So the business has actively seek some new kind of models. So there comes into picture called fine tuning. So actually ChatGPT has offered a solution to business organizations to create a new version of ChatGPT, which can be trained and used by a business organizations in a private mode. So we are going to explore different techniques for creating a business specific language model using the foundation model. See here, there is a big practical challenge. As you know, the language models are no longer small models. They are gigantic. Minimum to minimum, the beginning models itself had 170 to 200 billion parameters. So if you calculate, if you take all the 170 billion parameters in a float or double precision, and if you save all the parameters in a hard drive, it would occupy at least 350 GB. If language model is a software and if you want to install it on your PC, you need to have 350 GB space available. So actually OpenAI initially went ahead and offered a custom trained model for businesses. And their model was very simple. We will provide you the interface, you upload your data, we will train it with that business specific data, and then you can use that custom language model to suit your business operations and business needs. But here there is a catch. If you see why it is impractical, I will show you the calculation. It is very interesting calculation. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'll show the calculation. Are you able to see my notepad?
Yes, Ajay.
Okay. So LLM weights 350 GB. Suppose there is a business organization, some business organization one wants a custom language model. So that custom language model, when they train with their data, it would be minimum 350 GB again. And actually, initially the chat GPT offered a solution like you can train your model and we will charge you based on the usage. We will not charge you if you don't use. So for each and every business, they have to maintain 350 GB data. Say 1000 companies have created their own version of language model. Then what would be the storage? It is 350 into 1000 GB. So it is almost like 350 terabytes. So if the number increases, it becomes totally impractical for the language model or the foundation model company running it to maintain that kind of massive storage. And the most important thing is their model, the business model is to charge customer only when they use it. So suppose I go ahead and create a model and train it and I don't use it, what happens? So it is a massive loss for the foundation model company. So that is where they have actively explored different kind of solutions to mitigate this kind of problem. So that is where they have come up with a new training algorithm called QLORA. We will see what is the QLORA. Just a minute. QLORA. It is not here. Yes. Yes. Yes, if 10 users fine-tune GPT-3, they need 3,500 GB. 1,350K into 350, that's 350 terabytes. So if 100K users train, it is 335 million gigabytes. So it becomes totally impracticable. So then they have come up with QLORA. And by the way, this daily dose of ds.com, I have already shared in the group. It is very, very useful and insightful blog where some only 2 to 3 people are there continuously following up all the active research in language models and all other AI related latest advancements, and they are filtering the data and they are giving very concise and useful presentations and blogs where we can learn and quickly qualify interviews. So actually it is very useful. I have gone through several articles. So now I am covering the latest blog from this daily dose of DS only. So here actually you need to understand little bit of matrix and linear algebra. Here usually the weight matrix is D by D. D by D, yes, it is a D by D. So it is a big gigantic matrix. 170 billions means it is actually composed of M by N. When you multiply M by N, it is 170 billion parameter model. So it is actually the number of parameters is actually multiplication of matrix columns and matrix rows. So that is where we get the total parameters of the language model. So here the problem with creating custom models or fine tuning is when you fine tune, the storage is massive. So every model needs 350 GB of data minimum. And currently the reasoning models are much bigger, more than 350 GB actually. So in future they will be much bigger. There is a storage problem and there is a training problem. Training a new language model from scratch is very, very expensive and time consuming. And every business may not be able to afford so much of cost, and they may not be able to wait for so long for the model to get trained, and even they don't know whether it will be useful for them or not. So initially they would be hesitant to make a huge investment. So to cut down training cost and to cut down the storage space, they have created this QLORA algorithm. Currently in the market, you would be seeing lot of openings, which would be, if you see the business job descriptions, you would come across fine tuning the language models. This is one of the very hard skill actually. For fine tuning the language models, this is the latest technique that is in trend now. So actually, here we use something called transfer learning. So here, if you want to understand transfer learning, say you want to hire a new employee. Suppose you go and take some 10 years old kid and you sponsor his studies and you wait for another 10, 12 years and then you bring him on board and again you give your business specific training and only then he will be able to may contribute something for you for your organization. So that is equivalent to creating a new language model with your business specific need. So here the business would have to make significant amount of investment in terms of money as well as in terms of time. So to cut down, what usually business people do, they hire experienced people, they hire freshers who already completed the degree. If you don't want to give any kind of training and ready-made employees, then you have to hire an experienced person. Say you want to cut down some cost, you would hire a fresh graduate and you would give business specific training and then he will start contributing for your business. So similarly, here we are using something called transfer learning. So already ChatGPT knows English language, already it knows the programming languages. It has business knowledge. It has been trained on vast amount of public domain data. So it is like we can say master of all the subjects, but it is not master of your business related information, because your business domain information is not available on public domain. So what you are going to do is you are going to take 350 GB of foundation language model weights, and then what is your business domain data? It is, I don't think any business has terabytes and terabytes of data which is comparable with public domain data. So if you want to train already pre-trained language model on your business specific data, you wouldn't need another 170 billion parameters. You would hardly need some millions of parameters, definitely not billions of parameters. So here they have added another very thin layer on top of existing language model. You can see here R by K, R by K, D by R. When you multiply these two, you would get D by D. Just a minute. DS A, there are two matrices, A and B. A matrix is column matrix and B matrix is row matrix. When you multiply a column matrix and a row matrix, see, I will see here. See, R is a column matrix, A is a column matrix, and B is a row matrix. And output would be WX. What is this W? 170 billion parameters of the foundation language model plus A dot B into X. What is A dot B? It is a scalar. So you are going to add another thin layer, one column vector, one row vector, and your business specific information would reside in this thin layer, and language models foundation training would reside in this bulky layer. And here the most important thing is the language model is bringing all its pre-trained knowledge. So this is what we call transfer learning, and this is another small layer, very thin on top of 350 GB existing language model layer. And here what happens is, since every business organizations would be utilizing an existing pre-trained language model weights, you don't have to maintain a different language model weights for every version of it. You would have to maintain a different thin layer for every business. Here, since this layer contains only millions of parameters, it is actually 20 to 30 MB size for each business organization. So if you want to create a new version of ChatGPT for yourself, the size is only 25 MB. And your GPT has all the pre-trained knowledge plus your specific fine-tuned knowledge. So you get best of the both worlds. And here we can easily compare it with something like inheritance in programming language. When you inherit a class, the new class has all the methods, all the classes, all the parameters from the base class. On top of that, you can define few simple methods and other extra parameters that you would need specific to your need. So similarly, we are going to inherit all the weights from base model, and we will be adding a very thin layer with our business specific information. This is how they have solved very difficult problem of training and data and storage problem. And maintaining 20 to 25 MB is very, very easy for the business organization. So they are giving all the users an option to create their own version of base language model with their own pre-trained data. So this is how they have solved this very difficult problem. And actually, there are different versions of this QLORA method. So it would be another very big topic to discuss. I just wanted to discuss just on overview how they have solved, and this QLORA and creating this fine tuning is very in demand skill, because currently business organizations, they want to utilize language models in all their business operations in different cases and different scenarios. So they are focusing on creating models within the premises and with their own business specific data. So they are massively using this QLORA technique for fine tuning. And actually, even QLORA technique also needs some kind of investment and some kind of training as well. So another solution proposed for this problem was RAG, retrieval augment generation. In RAG, we would be using a parameter called system prompt in the LLM API. In all the LLM APIs, you would see something called system prompt and human prompt. Human prompt would be your question and system prompt would be your context. It is something similar to paragraph comprehension in English exams. So you will be given some questions and answer is present in the paragraph given above. You would have to read, understand, and then answer all the questions for the paragraph. Similarly, we would be passing our context, that is our business specific information in the system message, and we would be giving questions in the human message. So LLM, instead of relying on its pre-training on its 175 GB of data, LLM would read the context or system message, and then it would answer all the questions that we ask. So that is another retrieval augment generation, which many people are using, many business organizations are actively using, and there are different versions of retrieval augment generation. Currently, context augment generation and graph argument generation. There are different techniques which many businesses are actively utilizing. So this is, and I will be sharing this link also. You can go through, and this is one thing. If you have any questions, you can ask me, and I will just talk about latest advancements in language models. Yes. So here.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Sai.
So if an organization is using the foundational model of one, let's say OpenAI,
Okay.
uh, where would the data reside? So does the data also get exposed to OpenAI, or would it be securely sit inside the organization itself?
If you are using a service from OpenAI and you are training the model, and the model gets saved in the OpenAI server, OpenAI has access to your business data. So another option is you can install OpenAI, the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is open source, right? You can't see the code, but still you can install it and use it for free. So you can install it on your cloud and you can run it. And then in your cloud, when you do this pre-training, this fine-tuning, so OpenAI would not have access to that business-specific data.
Okay.
Yes. And actually, if you see, there are new models that are coming out, like the latest is Gemini 2.5 Pro. This is actually very good. I will just show you. Just a minute. So actually, agentic AI is the latest advancement, and how agentic AI is transforming LLMs, you can see. Write a blog.
Ajay, again, before you jump in, one more question.
Yes.
This daily dose of the link that you have provided. So does it cover from basic to advanced level, or is it?
No, it is actually not basic to advanced level. It keeps up with the latest technology changes, like the latest technology trends. So you need to have basic knowledge, and then you would easily understand what is going on. You don't
Got it.
have to have like in-depth knowledge, but you need to understand what is the language model, how it works. You need to understand what is an agentic AI, what is an AI agent. You have to understand. You need to have some basics of neural networks, deep learning. Then you would easily understand their blog.
Oh, okay, got it.
See, I have given a query. Initially, a language model is nothing but a predictive algorithm to predict the next word. When you type in on your keyboard, keeps predicting next word. If you say type the sky is, it would most probably predict blue. It was something like that. It doesn't have any capability to reason. It doesn't have any capability to plan, reason, and then analyze, execute, use tools, use the web. It doesn't have any of those capabilities. But as the language models kept evolving and users have demanded more and more from the language models. So they have integrated another agentic layer on top of existing language models. So actually, if you see, this is the generated blog. So to generate a blog, actually, if you had asked the same question to any LLM in 2022, you would have got a completely different answer, which was not actually useful to directly copy and paste in your blog. So it did not have that capability because it was a simple software to memorize and just spit out from your memory, just to spit out some random words. They could make sense, or they could not make sense. They might not have made some sense to you, but it was just a word spitting machine initially. As users have demanded, they have trained a few different fine-tuned models, and they integrated these fine-tuned models and they have created an agentic layer on top of existing language models. So they have created a reasoning layer. They have created, we can call it as a agentic, a reasoning agent, a validating agent, a planning agent, and they have given an explicit plan to create a blog. Explicit plan. If you see here, gems, chess champion, brainstormer, career guide, coding partner, learning coach. What are all these? These are nothing but multi-agentic teams which are sitting on top of base language model. So when I have asked it to see, when I have asked it to generate, it has generated the blog. But if you had asked the same question earlier, there was no option to see the thinking. What is this thinking? How can a machine actually think? A machine cannot think. So they have simulated the thinking. They have created a multi-agentic team. One agent would plan, another agent would use tools, another agent would be calling the underlying language model multiple times. Another agent would be calling the language model to validate each and every step output. Another agent would be consolidating. So they have created this multi-agentic team on top of the existing language model. And to create a blog, they have created this plan. You would be able to see, when you see the thinking, understand the core request. So this is the plan they have given to a planning agent. A planning they have trained the planning agent extensively. If you want to create a blog, there is a plan. If you want to write an essay, there is a different plan. If you want to generate a plan to execute a project, there is a different plan. They have hired the business experts, industry experts, and they have taught this planning agent how to plan. Step 1, step 2, step 3. If you ask anything, it would give you a plan. And it would be using an LLM internally for creating the plan. And that LLM is specifically fine-tuned for planning. See, paragraph 1, paragraph 2. And there is an executing agent. That executing agent would read the plan and it would execute one by one. It would execute a different query. It would build a prompt for each and every step and it would execute the prompt. And then there is an agent to validate, refine, edit, finally check and deliver the output. So this is what is happening right now in the LLMs. And on top of this, there is actually an orchestrating agent which is using this different multi-agentic teams. If you want to write a code, there is a different multi-agentic team. If you want to write a blog article, there is a different plan. If you want to suggest, if you want to brainstorm, if you want to play, if you want to debate, if you want to do role play, they have created many different multi-agentic architectures on top of base language model. And now they are integrating multiple models, language model, vision model, VLM, vision language model, which can see, which can understand, which can talk. So they are, it is no longer a simple language model. It is actually artificial narrow intelligence. So that means it is not good at everything like a human being, but it is better than a human being in some specific areas. So that is what we are at right now. We are at ANI, artificial narrow intelligence. So the race is on for creating AGI, general intelligence. Currently, it excels a human on creating a article, writing an email, like that, some specific task. But in future, it would match a human on all the areas. That would be general intelligence. And it would outsmart humans in some specific areas also. So that is what is happening. A deep research, canvas, deep thinking. And like this, using an agentic layer, the language models itself, they are building products. In future, you would see multiple different options. Say if you want to purchase an item online, you would no longer go and search Amazon, Flipkart, compare prices, read reviews. You would no longer have to do that. They will create a different agents here itself, like shopping agent, shopping assistant. If you type, automatically it will understand all your preferences, all your needs, and then it will do all the research and it will give you a product to purchase based on your preferences, based on your purchase history. Like that, it is going to happen. Right now, what is happening is some other third party companies are creating an orchestration layer, and they are using the language models using an API, and they are creating different kind of use cases for this using the language model. And after seeing those layers, the foundation model companies itself, they were excited and they have introduced the agentic layer on top of language models natively in their product itself. And they are trying to make the orchestration layer very efficient because they can tightly integrate the orchestration layer on top of the language models, and they can offer better solutions compared to other third-party products. So this is just beginning, and very soon they would be offering different kind of agentic solutions for business as well, like delivery manager, project manager, HR manager, a financial like an interviewer. If you want to interview something, you just give it input and it will orchestrate the interviewing team and it will generate the interview. Already many companies are using AI agents for doing the job interview. So like that, the future is going, and the business people, the business organizations are also very interested in building multi-agentic teams for their specific business needs. So I am done. If you want to ask any questions, you can ask.
So, Ajay, what you are,
Ah,
I mean, what you're saying is, in terms of efficiency, uh, RAG models are better than the fine-tuning models, and agentic AI models are better than the RAG models. That's what you're saying. Is it? Is
no,
it?
no, RAG has nothing to do with agentic AI. Agentic AI is orchestration layer, and RAG is about training the model with your business specific information.
So, fine-tuning model also, we actually get the base model and we fine-tune with our business specific data, the existing base model, and we actually utilize that one. But in case of RAG, we don't need to host this base model at our premises, right? So we can just use the API endpoints and we can query and get the response from the whatever the large language models. And we can, I mean, if required, we can store those embeddings into the vector database and we can query and we can get the things.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, both are actually, though both are serving the same purpose, they are serving in a different way.
Yes.
And on demand basis, if you want to go, RAG models will be better. But I mean, if you are able to bear the initial lecture expenses and if you are able to train the models, then fine tuning models will be better in the long term, in the long run. That's correct, right?
Yes, you are absolutely right.
So, you're saying agentic AI, we are having an orchestration layer, and that orchestration layer will coordinate with different AI agents. Under each AI agent, we have a corresponding LLM, which is fine tuned to serve that specific uh, use case of use case. So, is the correct understanding for agentic AI?
Yes, you are right. Like they may be using the same foundation model, or they may be using a different fine-tuned model, which is say if a planning agent is using a fine-tuned model and planning for plan just for planning. A validating agent can use a fine-tuned validating model, or it can use RAG itself.
So,
So it
what is the
depends actually.
difference?
Mm.
Okay. So, what is the difference between multi LLM model and agentic AI?
Agentic AI is suppose you are working in an organization, you are given some task and you are given some tools. IDE is a tool for you, and you are given access to Copilot. Copilot is a tool for you. So yeah, there are many tools. All the tools cannot do some task by themselves. Somebody has to orchestrate. Somebody has to use the tools and get the work done. So you are the person who is doing the work. You are the agent, and it is possible to write a program for you as well.
Okay.
So whatever the task you are doing, I can write a program which utilizes all the tools that you are using right now, and I can get my task done. So that is agent.
Okay.
And this RAG is different. It is just a fine tuning for business.
So it's more of you replacing human with what is an agent.
Yes, yes. And now They're powering billions and billions for AGI. They want to create one single neural network or mathematical model that has multiple capabilities. See, you are a person. You can see, you have vision, language, deep thinking. You can do self-reflection. If you have done something wrong, you can reflect and you can change your behavior. You can fix yourself. You can go ahead. You can you can foresee. You can forecast, and you can adjust yourself. Say you are serving a company, and based on their feedback, you will be improving yourself, and you will be delivering better and better. So all these are different qualities. You can walk, you can talk, you can think. All these are different abilities. But underlying network, your brain is a single network. Your brain is a single mathematical model, which is capable of doing all these. But currently, we have one model for prediction. We have one model for language, one model for vision, one for speech, one for audio, one for music, one for creating images, one for creating videos. So, and to simulate something like a human being, they are building an orchestration layer and they are hiding all the different models which are fine-tuned for and built for each purpose. And they are just creating an illusion that one model is doing all the things, but under the hood, it is different models. So they want to create a single model which is capable of doing all these different tasks. Same model, it has some weights. It can see, it can reason, it can think, it can deep think. So all these, so that is what the research is going on now.
Okay.
That is great and scary to hear.
Okay. Okay, then maybe next week and for 2 weeks we will not have a session because I will be traveling. After 2 weeks we shall meet.
Sure.
Thank you. You can drop your feedback in the group. I will try to plan the next session accordingly.
Thanks,
So,
Ajay. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, yes, Srikanth, tell me.
So, as part of these sessions, do we have the hands-on coding as well?
We did some the agentic hands-on also. Some 2 weeks back we did.
Okay, okay. So in future sessions, we can also plan them, right?
Yes, definitely we can. But actually, the audience, they did not have the expertise of. They need to have all the basics, right? So I didn't continue the hands-on and after that.
Ajay, when you say
Okay.
hands-on, have you
Yes,
have you
I have
project?
run. I have created a sample multi-agentic team and I have demonstrated.
Oh, that's fine. So I think we have a recording of that as well, right?
No, only from last week we started recording.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That's not a problem. Slowly we will have, because the subject is like little bit complicated and slow, continuously evolving. There are so many topics we can. It takes hours together if you start discussing.
I understand. So it's a never-ending, and it's a
Yes, exactly. Never ending and ever changing.
this is a we are living in a fast food fast food generation.
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks,
Okay,
Ajay.
Sai, Prem. Okay, Prem. Okay,
Thank you.
Srikanth. Bye.
Thanks,
See you after 2 weeks.
Hey, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thank
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.